Streams channel. Alright, I think we are good to go. Welcome. Welcome everyone here to the ARC Formula 1 2023 Hungarian Grand Prix. Here, of course, from the Hungaroring. Getting it going with some qualifying at the moment. As mentioned, round 14 out of 25, so we are officially over the halfway mark of the season. And championship is really kind of taken shape, I must say. Both Williams drivers right at the top, with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer chasing 5 points back in P3, laying out the points now. It's Mikey de Jong sort of running away with it, 198 points in first place. Abdul Al-Hazmi not quite close behind, but second place locked up with 140, difference of 58 points, but right behind him with 135 points is Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, as mentioned.
Hi, I'm Billy.
Good evening, Billy. How are you on this fine Friday?
I'm alright, Alex. Just looking forward to this race. A lot of people at home want to know. We got changeable conditions this race. It looks like we're going to start qualifying. We'll be dry. The race will start dry, but we will get progressively more damp as the race goes on. So while we may start dry, we will end a bit moist for all of those who don't like the word.
Hopefully
So changeable conditions.
All for the better of the excitement for both the viewers and the racers to some extent. Could see a situation like we see in IRL Formula 1 where this may end up being a crapshoot. It could be anybody's race by the final lap, and we'll just have to see. Car performance and as well driver performance could be different here from other tracks, just with what drivers are used to and comfortable with.
Oh,
Jackson Tate.
Tate's bailing out of that first lap. Something he doesn't like in the setup, maybe.
First one out on track by quite a margin, and he's instantly back into pits. It will be.
Now, I want to mention for everybody at home also who also view our Formula 1 Euro Series, there's been a change in the way our format works. All those people that wish to perform in F1, they had to choose a series to race in, and this will be your grid going forward for the Formula 1, I guess you could say, American Series on Friday nights, and then Saturday nights we'll have a different grid. You won't see any drivers from either of those grids competing against each other. Everyone on the grid in Formula Euro. Sigh of relief, they won't see Liam again.
Yeah, good point. I mean, hopefully a decision like that makes for better racing, with drivers being able now to commit to one series and focus on it rather than just kind of taking both as they come and seeing what happens. Well, we are missing a few cars from the grid tonight. We're shortened pack down to 15. Boryoshi seems to be the first on his hot lap, and we will follow along. Time seems to be good thus far.
Oh! Keep it out of the... And he's able to keep it out of the wall, but...
By inches, and he might nudge it here. Uh-oh.
There's just a set of tires that will not be usable any longer.
I think I might have jinxed him, to be honest. But around him goes a few others. It looks like an Alpine and the two Mercedes. Or the two Ferraris, I'm sorry. And it is the Alpine of Andrew Davis who lays down the first time of the session.
Yep, I was seeing Liam earlier in a practice session that we were both involved in. He was a 1:15.8, so look for the mid 1:15s to really set the tone here as AJ makes his way around the final corner.
Oh, and those Ferraris, I thought they were also on a lap with Andrew Davis. However, they had just started their hot lap as he crossed, finishing his, and they will have some traffic to deal with, it seems, with Andrew Davis on his cooldown lap, making space now for Gabe Cazzola. But he has teammate of Andrew, Liam Carrig, close behind. hoping to get a good tow here, I imagine. A few times coming across now. Not super duper representative, of course. One driver in the 16s, one in the 17s, and then a few more kind of scattered behind there.
Yep, saw Jackson Tate duck in on his outlap, chose to come back out on the mediums. Zane retires. That was a scheduled retirement, as he has a qualifying ban from previous penalty point incidents from the past couple of races, so he will serve that start at the back of the grid.
Ferraris both coming across now, and it is Matt Daly on provisional pole after his first lap with the 16.6. Teammate Gabe Cazzola getting the 1:18.5, good for P4 at the moment. However, those times will, of course, start to drop. And as I say it, Boriyoshi sneaks right in there by about a tenth, it looks like, over Matt Daly. May see sometimes dip into the mid 115s, but probably will be sticking around the high 115s for pole position.
See Fabian ducking into the pits. We also see Clay Smith coming around the final corner to set a time. That's going to put him P7.
Matt Stotts ducking into the pit on an invalidated lap, it looks like.
Jackson Tate across the line on the mediums. A 1:17.8, that's not terrible on a medium set of tires.
Yeah, respectable time, of course, for the compound. Maybe hoping to save a set of softs, but I'm sure he has enough to burn through that it shouldn't really matter. Kind of questioning why he may be out there on medium compound.
But here comes Al Hazmi out of the final corner to set his first time. Top of the boards with a 1:15.8.
Into those high 115s as mentioned, and I think we will be actually closer to the mid 115s than I anticipated, given that that is only Al Hazmi's first lap. Teammate Mike DeYoung still yet to lay one down, of course the leader in the current Drivers' Championship.
Jake Scarborough went P8 but got bumped down as Luke Allen
it actually does
goes
not.
P7.
Looks like Al Hazmi is actually alone on the grid tonight. I don't see his teammate. Apologies.
Mikey DeYoung said previously that he wasn't going to make it this week. Prior engagements. But, fortunately enough for him, the points margin is substantial. But all eyes on Liam Craig as he starts his first flying lap.
You want to take us through as we go through the end of the first sector here?
You could really chuck it into this one here. Turn, for this 5 right here. Going to stay away from that curve, but keep a lot of speed. Here comes 6 and 7. Do not want to get on top of these sausage curbs. Unsettles the car. Through 8. Trying to hold her steady. Ooh, there's a lag on my end. Comes up towards 11. It's going to be a little bit of a straight here. And he's going to be hard on the brakes for 12. Setting purple sectors the entire time.
He goes, yeah.
Yep. Just the final 2 corners of 13 and 14 to go. Very smooth. You see him taking it in 3rd. Normally this is a 4th gear corner. He's going to keep it there. Lighting the throttle. Power down as quick as you can. Straight to the line. And that's going to be P1 with a 1:15.4.
Provisional pole. Great lap from Liam. By nearly half a second over Abdul Al Hazmi for the moment. For the time being. Only one driver that is meant to qualify yet to lay down a time. That, of course,
AJ had a scruff lap. He's beginning his out lap now with his teammate Matthew Stotts right behind him. Right behind him looks like a Ferrari of Gabe Cazzola, who's on his out lap, so not really going to affect these guys. Trying to look who's going to be next across the line. Ayrton Frederick, he's going to duck off into the pit, but Andrew Davis is on one now to try and
that Alpine is certainly flying.
Move him up the grid.
Currently sitting P7, was the first time on the board, has fallen from P1 to P7 in the meantime. Around the final corner he comes now, over the line, and let's see what he can do. He does
improves,
improve.
but not positionally.
Back to those Aston Martins. They'll be coming across 1, 2 right after the other. Waiting in anticipation as AJ Knickel
AJ
crosses
goes
the line for
P4.
P4. And Matt Stotts, I'm sorry, good for P3.
Yeah, we've seen, again, Matthew Stotts' pace. Qualifying pace is there. Unfortunately, he's just been dropping back in race pace. Not solely his fault, but Liam Craig, Al Hasmi, and Mikey de Jong and Ethan Fonseca have really been the class of the field for the 2 weeks since Austria. But two of those names I just mentioned missing from tonight's race. So podium is wide open for Matthew Stotts here. And if you
Very
think
true.
about it, he's really, as you see him get out of the way here for Gabe Cazolas. Gabe's desperately looking to try and improve that time. And, ooh, that was very close to... HA seemingly parked it in the middle of the track. Not sure what he was thinking, but nonetheless, moving on.
Matthew Stotts,
Gabe,
I must say, probably the clearest example we have of track strength and track weakness. He has consistency like no other on tracks that he's comfortable with, but on the ones that he knows he underperforms, he does really underperform. Just to expectation, I should say.
an Alpine crossing the line.
Following with Gabe as he rounds turn 14, and over the line he will go. He improves, but not enough to advance. Oh,
Oh
he
no,
does
he
actually
advanced. He
advance. One
knocked
position.
Luke Allen down, who Luke Allen is also on a lap. Let's take a look at his sector one time. He's currently up on his time, or down rather. He's got to have a better sector 2 and 3 here. Ooh, bit rough through that S
Oh, and
section. He's gonna
very
go
wide, and he's
around,
going to
keep it
go
out of the,
around.
and
That
he's
is
out.
hard contact. Luke
He
Allen
is out.
crashes out of the session. Yellow flags will be out for the moment for him. And that's just unfortunate. He was really pushing it on that one, hoping to advance from that P15 position. But maybe a
Yeah,
bit
he's
too
been really
much.
needing a result lately, and it's just trouble seems to find him. If he didn't
It's a
have bad luck, he would have none at all, Alex.
Abdul Al-Hazmi, currently sitting P2, will be taking the final corner, and across the line he's coming. Ooh, a bit of a twitch. Is it enough? It is
No,
enough. It is
it
enough
isn't.
to
He didn't.
offset his time, that is.
Oh, he was actually down by 9/100ths, almost a tenth. Showed a plus 9.097. Oh, there's a bit of traffic there. Oh, both of these cars. Hey, look at this actually. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in the top 10 instead of having to fight his way through during the race. And I
That is
believe
very
he's
true.
on a lap. It looks like he is on a lap, so
Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, the last few GPs, and few meaning like 3, 4, maybe even 5 at this point, he just has a knack for starting right around P10. He'll qualify anywhere from P10 to P12 usually, and then he's up to like P5, P6 by the end of lap 3 or so.
just has a knack for just taking advantage across the line. He does improve by 2/10, but it's just not enough to improve the position. Fabian Green is retired.
An early retirement from P10 for Fidel, so he will have to hold on to that 117.1 and hope for the best. About 4 minutes remaining here, enough time for one more lap cycle. Track really starting to rubber in now. We're seeing, looks like 4 drivers into the 115.
Oh, and without our knowledge, Boriyoshi actually put her P2.
He did. I was following along for the moment after he crossed the line. He snuck right in there, just right under our noses, it seems. Jonathan
Again, both
Jurgensmeyer.
Astons out at the same time as well.
Invalidated
Who's that an
lap for
incident?
Jurg, and he
Oh,
will look to duck it in and get back out as soon as he can. Yes, an incident it looks like.
yeah, it's Jake Scarborough who just lost it in the apex of turn 1. His lap is ruined, and I don't think he's got enough time to get back to the pit here, Alex. He's going to have to try and make do on those tires.
I mean, he could give them a little bit of scuff and push back to the pits, but even so, it'll be cutting it close.
Yeah, I think he's just got to recharge and go for a lap here.
So it's Liam Carrick still on provisional pole by about 4.5 tenths.
Hey, he's getting ready to start his, what you would think, final lap of qualifying. Gabe also on his out lap, getting ready to start his time.
Fully charged is
Arbro
Gabe.
has recharged. He is ready to go.
Probably a smart move here, all things considered. All right, over the line for the final lap goes Gabe
had a
Cazola.
big moment. Oh, again, that's his out lap, so nothing to really be concerned about.
Few drivers still in pit. Clock is really winding down for them to come out and be able to get a...
Andrew Davis improves.
Oh, he does. That's a 1:16.4 for Andrew Davis. Should be mentioned, though, Liam just really putting in a burner of a lap, it looks like. The gap from Liam to Boriyoshi, currently sitting P2, is the same as the gap from Boriyoshi to about AJ, sitting P6 at the moment.
This is going to be a pretty good lap here from Liam. Look for him to go even further. What's it going to be? A huge improvement.
Wow.
2.277 seconds clear of himself.
And I'm sure he is feeling right now that that will be plenty.
As Gabe moves up to P12 there. Here come both Aston Martins to finish there. You got to think final lap.
P4, P6, not terrible starting positions, but any improvement is a good improvement here for the both of them.
Seemed a bit...
Matt Stott's first across, up on the front row if nothing changes. AJ Knickel, however, does not manage to improve. He will stay P6. And with not enough time to make it back around for another lap, it looks like that will be it. An early retirement here from Andrew Davis, sitting on that 1:16.4, currently P8.
Boriyoshi out there for another lap, and Al Hasmi going to get back to the line too to start his lap.
That alpha of, it looks like, Jackson Tate.
Jackson Tate's going to be able to start a lap.
The Haas and the Alfa Romeo currently coming across the line should also be good. However, I'm not sure that Alpine and Mercedes of Clay
we've had a
Smith.
spin. Boriyoshi's gone around. Oh, heartbreak. Previous winner of Formula Euro race. This home track of Silverstone. But qualifying is totally different than the race, Alex.
He will not get a final lap, it seems.
Oh, and that's AJ in the wall as well.
Oh, no. Not enough
His lap
damage
was
to cause a
essentially
retirement,
over.
but, yep. He will be sitting P6 after not advancing on his
Oh,
previous
and Matt
flying
Daly,
lap.
who is up by almost a tenth on his final lap, invalidates. Not going to be able to prove his position.
It does not seem it would have been enough anyway, but he will be starting from P9, hoping to maintain that point-scoring position come race's end.
Here comes Al Hasmi, looking to take P3 at least away. He's going to go P2.
It's P2. He snatches it right from the grip of Matthew Stotts.
What's going to be here for Jackson Tate? Jackson Tate crossed the line, P10.
P10.
The Haas crosses the line. Jurgensmeyer, P5.
And that's a great lap from Jonathan
James
Jurgensmeyer.
backs out of it at the end there. And that's it, Alex. That's qualifying.
It looks like this will be the grid. So there you have it. Liam Carrick takes pole here for the ARC Hungarian GP. Abdul Al-Hazmi, without a teammate tonight, he's flying solo. He will line up on the first row with Liam in P2. Matthew Stotts holding on for P3. Did get edged out by just the smallest of margins, well, about 2/10 of a margin actually, by Al-Hazmi on his final flying lap.
Yeah, Alex, expect quite a different race this week. As we call, what did we call this? The Monaco with walls, or whatever they call it. Hungarian is very tight, not a lot of straights. We are not just going to see the DRS trains, the Silverstones and the, uh, the the Red Bull rings that we saw the past 2 weeks. Look for Liam's pace to really shine here, maybe spread a gap, but I gotta tell you, P2, P3, P4, really close. We've seen these guys, and now that Mikey DeYoung and Ethan Fonseca are not in the race tonight, look for these three drivers specifically to really attack for second, third. There's going to be a real fight for the last spot on that podium.
Yeah, plenty of points to be had tonight, it seems. And there you have it, Liam Carrig, as mentioned, on pole. Abdullah Hazmi lining up alongside him on row 1. Matt Stotts and Boryoshi will take row 2. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer with the P5. He'll start on row 3 alongside Clay Smith in the Mercedes. AJ Knickel and Andrew Davis lining up alongside each other in row 4. Matty Daly and Jackson Tate will take row 5. Fabian and Gabe Cazola on row 6. And we are good to go.
Well, you're Liam. You got to be thinking there's a cozy gap there to P2. He's really had to start, like, again, Mikey DeYoung has been really all over him for the past 2 weeks. He's just, his closest rival on pace just isn't here, so all credit to Al Hazmi, no disrespect to him, because he's been on it all season too, but the form that Mikey DeYoung has had lately, it can't be missed.
And as we were mentioning all through the first half of the season, especially in the earlier Grands Prix, it was the Williams that seemed in incidents of no fault of their own, of course, but Mikey DeYoung usually had some recovery off of it, and then Abdullah Hazmi would usually get the short end of that stick, maybe losing out on a few positions, a few points because of it. But they've seemed to have corrected their errors, and they've been running very smooth, very clean in the time since. But even still, you have to think about the points that may have been left on the table in those early incidents from those Grands Prix at the beginning of the season. May have closed the gap between the two teammates in the championship by some margin. As mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it is Mikey DeYoung currently sitting P1 with 198 points in the championship. Teammate Abdullah Hazmi in second with 140. Gap of 58 points, and I'm sure some of those could have been made up in those early incidents.
Oh no. We don't
Are we
usually
off?
see we don't no. We usually don't see formation laps.
I feel like for a few Grand Prix that happened recently, we didn't get a formation lap, but for the most part, we always have, and
Yeah,
we
the
should.
game had a glitch. Now, look at the tire strategies, Alex. We look up and down the grid. Top three on hards. Remember, this is a varying race because we're going to have different weather here. So, hard tires will certainly get to, maybe if we get to intermediates. Boryoshi elected for the softs. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, mediums. Mercedes at Clay. AJ as well in the Aston hards. And then it's a roll of the dice down there.
It's a
Medium,
crapshoot
soft,
down the rest
medium.
of the grid, it looks like. But if you're Boryoshi starting in P4 on those soft compound tires, knowing all the drivers ahead of you will be starting on the hards, are you looking to make the early move, or are you looking to just stick with them and possibly make a later move?
I don't know. They're on hards, and they just had the pace all season. Like, you gotta. I mean, listen. If you're starting on the softs, you got to attack, because if you sit behind these guys with the pace, obviously you're gonna be right up on the diffuser. It's just it's gonna burn those tires out quickly than you want, and you don't really know when the rain is coming. Because us, the spectator, we don't really get a peek into that. They'll be told over their little board of the weekend on where the weather will come in, but we actually don't get the information.
Yes, of course. With rain on the forecast for the later stages of this race, I mean, things could turn upside down in the blink of an eye. We will see, however. Once we have the grid lined up, a few grid penalties being assessed for incorrect positioning in each starting box. Nothing really to worry about. Alright, and it is lights out. Not quite. Wow, what a delay. It's lights out and away we go here from Hungary. Liam with a decent getaway. Abdullah Hazmi not quite getting enough. It's Boryoshi that seems to be pulling up right to him. It is Liam who will take it into turn 1, though. And if we had an incident, some early disqualifications just on the first corner. I can't imagine what caused that.
Oh, that's certainly gotta be a restart here. Yeah,
Yep,
that
it
is
looks
definitely a
like we've had
restart.
some technical difficulties of some sort. The lobby may have glitched a few people out, some
Yeah,
lag
this
and
is why
some...
we generally keep the safety cars off, and just for fun, Boryoshi just pulls the e-brake. Yeah, see, drivers were disqualified for going reverse on the grid, but that isn't what happened, obviously. We don't really have control of the cars once that happens, so we will have the grid order, and it will be gone over, so just a minor setback. But, Alex, in the meantime, we can talk about tomorrow's race as well, and the plethora of events we have coming up. Obviously, Saturday afternoon, Monday night, I believe, is the IndyCar series, excuse me.
Sunday as well, race 5 of 7, coming down to the wire in the Gran Turismo Super GT series.
Mm-hmm. What a fun series to drive in, Alex. That is, those cars, just just beautiful. Oh, look at that. We have a fake podium here.
It looks like the lobby will be remade, hopefully with no troubles off the start this
Let the
time.
record show Andrew Davis, top step of the podium here.
But yeah, as Billy just mentioned, plenty of events on the ARC schedule for the week ahead. No NASCAR this week, however, taking a break before playoffs start. Playoff drivers have been identified, and the grid is set for the playoffs for the ARC NASCAR series, both for the National Series as well as the Standard Cup Series.
Oh, and I tell you, Alex, a lot of angry drivers after last night's Daytona race, me included. Everywhere I looked, I got trouble. Trouble found me. Trouble, toil and trouble. You
Yeah.
call it Rumpelfugly.
If you're willing, make yourself some popcorn and just take a scroll through the NASCAR Heat 5 chat on the ARC Discord and have yourself a piece of the drama. Because it was really quite the race. Unfortunately, not able to broadcast NASCAR Heat 5, of course, but plenty of drama after race, and that's just...
I will say this, Alex. All drivers got together after that, really talked it out, and what it really seemed to boil down to is we've just had a. It's not a great game, and drivers racing hard.
On
There's little
plate tracks,
bubbles of lag.
especially. Yeah.
Yes. Overall, it was quite fun, and we had a good turnout. It was a great time. Oh, remember last week? I believe this was the race too that Mikey DeYoung, coming into club corner there at Silverstone, chucked it round the outside and was able to make it stick 3 wide.
Yeah,
Learning
picked up
after
2
the race,
positions on that move.
yeah, had no idea he was 3 wide, which is just great. Let's see if there's new invites sent. Yep, I believe, Alex, the new lobby is up, and I think they're waiting on us.
I think they might be as well. Alright. Getting her back up and running here. Session
Did
no
we call?
longer exists. I'm not able to join, it seems.
Well, Alex, I will get you that invitation. Now, did we get... Yeah, we actually got a couple drivers to make it to the race. I see Jamie Knock has actually gotten into his seat.
Excellent. Good news
Tyler
for everybody
Crabtree
else.
grabs his spot on the grid in the McLaren. You know what, Alex? Fantastic lobby reset. Got a couple more guys.
Yeah, looks to be worth it. We will have a few more spots filled on the grid for the real restart.
At least 2 that I see off the start, so they're going to obviously have to start at the back due to the fact that qualifying had already taken place. It'll be interesting to see where they line Zane up, as Zane made it to qualifying, took his qualifying ban, but with these drivers coming in, obviously they would have qualified ahead of him, so...
I believe even still, he should be ahead of the late entries just on the basis of, being here. But I guess we'll see. Things will get worked out one way or the other come the restart. Now, are you able to manually set grid order by player in F123, Bill? Do you know?
Yes, absolutely. That's something they added in back in, excuse me, F1 2020, which is good because they knew at the time that sometimes lobbies don't go according to plan. I could tell you my time in ISRL running a series, trying to get through it fast, it could take a minute, but which has allowed us to get 2 more drivers on the grid because, you love to see it. What do we got now? Including us. I stopped spectating. That puts me at 20. Yeah, so we got 19 cars on the grid, so only
Looks like
missing
it.
one, and that would be the Williams of Mikey Dion. But again, he's had a Max Verstappen-like season. Not as dominant, but he snuck out wins here, especially Austria. We saw Liam had the time penalty, but Mikey Jung was able to get down on track in an unconventional way too, around turn 5 at Austria, which is a fantastic move. Made the move stick and got it done. And then last week too, we talked about the outstanding move in the dying embers of the race to get that one. Again, time penalties were affecting drivers. I don't necessarily think that'll affect us as the way it did in the last 2 races, but hey, it is Formula One.
And also
Oh,
with
and we got 2 McLarens. Look at this.
very nice to see everybody turning out for the race. And also, as mentioned earlier, there will be some tricky weather to deal with come the middle parts or end of the race. So things could change in the blink of an eye. We'll have to just wait and see.
Allow me to step by to use the bathroom before we get this one started.
For those just joining, welcome. Good timing. For those that have been here since our first start, we apologize, of course, for the difficulties. Seems our lobby kind of crashed out on us. We had people lagging out and some trouble off the race start, so getting it going once more here. And back to the Hungaroring we go. Hopefully for a clean race start this time around. Beautiful track, of course, the Hungaroring.
Oh, I made it back.
4.3 kilometer track. It's a staple of the Formula One calendar. Since 1986 we've been racing here. Decades of breathtaking action that it's provided us. The ring's unique layout, featuring a combination of tight and twisty corners, challenges the driver's skill and agility to the fullest. As the engines rev and the lights go out, we are set for an adrenaline-fueled race that promises thrills and excitement. One can only hope, of course. With the wet weather predicted, though, I'm sure things will get rather exciting by some point. The paces of each driver may kind of shape out and people will fall into their places within the first few laps, but
Here we go.
when the weather hits, lights out? Not quite. It is now lights out and away we go with Liam getting a decent getaway this time. Abdul Al-Hazmi tucking in right behind him, and then is Matt Stotts skittering into the inside. Will he get the place on Abdul Al-Hazmi? He does seem to pick it up for a moment there, but Al-Hazmi with the better getaway out of the exit.
Yeah, super clean through the start, but we are 3 wide, entering into 2.
Side by side for P2 is Matt Stotts and Abdul Al-Hazmi. Currently, Al-Hazmi going a bit wide. Plenty of space left there from Matt Stotts.
Oh, Matt Stotts gets hung up on the
Oh.
floor on that sausage curb. He's got to be careful with this white curb here. That'll turn you around in an instant, but he hold off Jonathan Jurgensmeyer.
Jurg
Ooh, that was
already making
scary.
up a position on those medium
Oh, who's
compound
that?
tires. And there's a
Oh,
car around. It looks like Matt Daly. Matt Daly drops to the back of the grid. Oh no.
AJ Knickel connected as well, collected, and he is going to be upset. We all saw what happened last week going into Cop's corner. His race ended. Fortunately for him, it is not over. We got a VSC to kind of freeze the field. Maybe he can get in. He's got to have damage after that. Yeah, he's missing one
Matty
end
Daly
plate.
without a front wing. AJ Knickel without an end plate.
Andrew Davis is well missing. Let's take a look. I don't believe there's any damage on Luke Allen there in the Red Bull. But we'll see plenty of drivers diving off into the pit here. Who do we got already?
From P6 to P8, we have Jackson Tate, Gabe Cazola, and Clay Smith all taking an early pit stop. Of course, Andrew Davis, Matty Daly, and AJ Knickel at the back of the grid also taking pits for damage.
Oh, and Matt Daly just tried to dive around Andrew Davis. And they're double stacking down a Ferrari with double wing changes.
No.
And this isn't a full safety car, folks. This VSC could end. Ferrari, much like you see on TV, have the strategy of, well, we ain't getting into it, but oh no.
Is that a penalty assessed to AJ Knickel? A late send out there from his pit box.
Yeah, I don't think the game works like that, but I believe Matt Daly's going to have a 5-second time penalty he will have to serve if he pits again because he was speeding. Yeah, speeding in pit road, trying to be super aggressive to go around. And like I said, we're going to Inter soon. Let's take a look. Did anybody change up their tire? No, still pretty much
Does
the
not
same.
look like it.
Oh, Boryoshi did. He started on the soft.
Boryoshi,
He
yes.
chose, yeah, he said, nope, not
Ducked
doing
in for mediums, yep. Looking to stick it out, it looks like.
Now, hold on a second, Alex. Zane served a qualifying ban, but Zane is running P6 right now.
Not getting any penalties, of course, for passing under yellow, so that's just on merit that he's moved up that far. Wow.
Oh, someone saying in the chat, AJ may have caused that one, so we'll wait to see.
Over the line we go now
Sets the fastest lap.
for the first official racing lap, first clean racing lap we can hope, and Liam has already worked himself out a 1.5-second gap over Abdullah Hazmi, currently sitting P2. Matt Stott's keeping him company, about 0.8 tenths behind. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer already making up a position as well, up to P4.
I want to see those position changes and see what... Yeah, Zane is up 10 spots from P16 on the grid. Oh, he goes
as
a bit
well
wide
as Jamie
Knock.
Knock. Jamie Knock up from the second to last racing position to P8.
Yeah, remember, he wasn't here for qualifying nor the start of the last race to get everybody disqualified, but he's sure making second chances he will not waste.
Abdullah Hazmi already cutting a bit into the gap to Liam Carrig, down from 1.5 seconds to about 1.2 at the moment and falling. Matt Stotts, however, seems to have dropped off from those two quite a bit. He was within a second, now sitting at about 1.7.
Oh, we see Tyler Crabtree going around the outside of Jake Scarborough, but Jake Scarborough being on the hards and the McLaren being on the soft, so it's going to be a pretty easy job.
DRS now for Ayrton Frederick. Looks up the inside, thinks twice about it. He will tuck in and looks to make the inside move now on Jake Scarborough, and he does certainly have it for P10.
Yeah, moved himself nicely into points. You might see a lot of spins here because it's very easy to lose traction. And Gabe making the most of it. Back up into P13. He gets the move done on Clay Smith.
Already, though, a massive gap down the end of the pack there. Gabe sitting 15 seconds behind Luke Allen in P12 at the moment. So everybody down from P13. P13 to P19 is looking like this will be a redemption race of sorts. Bit of catch up to do.
Yeah, Clay is actually all over the back of Gabe right here. He's gathered it up and go. Ooh. He is on the medium tires, so
Boryoshi as well sticking right with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who himself is not too far back from Matt Stotts at the moment.
DRS are the both of them. Stotts losing a bit of time to Al Hasmi here, but Al Hasmi also losing a bit of time to Liam Craig, so Carrig.
So yeah, on lap 5, we see that the grid has kind of shaken out. Of course, early incidents, and you have drivers of the likes of Zane and Jamie Knock, of course, starting
Oh, and
from
there
the
goes
back.
AJ Knickel down the inside of Andrew Davis.
Oh, and they're
Andrew Davis
fighting.
with the switchback. It's got to compromise him with Matt, and Matt, former teammate, just gives him the space and allows him to go after. AJ driving very aggressively right now.
It
He
looks
is
like it.
up on the wheel and driving.
And he is out of battery already, pushing hard off the restart.
Yeah, he must feel a certain type of way, so to speak, about Andrew Davis, but Andrew Davis able to hold off the soft compound driver with those hards. AJ's not gonna want to stick behind for long though.
Getting right up to the back into the corners, it looks like.
And he
Not,
has absolutely no battery left.
yes.
Oh, he's deploying still. He is determined. Oh, he's blatantly just absolutely dumped him. Oh, and there's a safety car. What has
Oh,
happened to the McLaren of Short Killer? He is out, and
it
just
looks
like
like
that.
Julian has had an issue of some sort, a crash out. Did not catch it being at the end of the pack, but it'll be another early pit now for AJ Knickel as well as Andrew Davis.
Well, he actually excuse me, plowed into the back of Andrew Davis. They didn't change the wing, so it must be just to change tires. And Andrew Davis will jump AJ in the pit. No, he won't. I am blind.
Back out, nose to butt they go, and with a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna. I mean, the leaders are coming through 13 now to catch the safety car. The safety car in which AJ Knickel is just driving by there.
Yep.
But unfortunately too, until the leader catches the safety car, they will have to maintain a delta. So hopefully, ooh, and what has Jackson Tate received a penalty for? It's a 5-second penalty he'll have to serve on his pit stop.
And can only
3 seconds for
imagine
Matty.
with the
Matty gets a
forecast
track extension under the safety car. That is foolish.
with the forecast looking like it does, it seems that there will be probably at least 2 more pit cycles here for all drivers, maybe 3 depending on, of course, damage and the intangible things that we cannot predict. The weather, however, thanks to the advancements of modern technology, we can predict to some extent. And of course,
Well,
being
as
a video
Michael
game, we can
Kelso
just
said,
set it.
I can't predict the weather.
Well, the weathermen certainly can, and the game certainly can. So, that being the case, I believe weather was set to get a little wet come the end of the race. So that
Very
being the
moist.
case, 2 pit cycles minimum, maybe 3 if we see any incidents come the weather.
Well, it depends on when the rain gets here, because you could have a double-edged sword. It might be light rain, and these hard compound tire runners might have it. They might be able to make it to the rain period, but if it's not raining enough where it calls to go to inters, they're gonna be out there on extremely cold, worn, hard tires trying to make it through that. So, could be a double-edged sword.
Of course,
The agent's
waiting.
still 40 seconds back from the rest of the field.
Yes, we will be going around under safety car at least 1 more lap, it looks like. AJ,
Oh, he's a minute and 20 seconds behind.
2.5 sectors behind the leaders at the moment. He has quite the space to make up to catch the back of the grid. So, around at least once more we go under safety car. Bernd Mailander driving out of his frickin' mind right now.
As always. Moment to catch our breath while we wait for the 3 stragglers. Oh boy. Tell you what, those tires will be warm by the time they catch the back of the grid. As they're trying to put... AJ might even go for a fastest lap here. He's pushing. Oh.
So, over the
Jackson
timing
Tate
line,
is coming to serve his 5-second.
and probably a smart decision here under safety car rather than VSC. He may take tires as well. It does seem that the soft compound tires will be going on for Jackson Tate. Probably a smart
They're
move
gonna
given
have
his
to
position.
get on it here though. Safety car about to enter the final sector almost.
And now, do you think it's on a driver's mind to be selfish enough in a situation like Jackson Tate, knowing that he just switched to the soft compound tires? Would it be worth it to maybe take it a bit easier than he would otherwise to force another extra lap to save those soft compound tires? I feel like, of course, it would be a bit of a selfish
Oh,
move,
Alex, I
but
think we're getting another lap regardless.
it looks
Because
like we will. They are way
he is
too
not
far
catching
back.
the field.
Early incident that AJ Knickel got caught up in and has not seemed to find his footing in the time since. Catching the back of the
That
grid
safety
now.
car came out for, luckily, another incident. Was able to bring him back into the fold, and everybody ahead of him. Oh, who's that tucking into the pits? I mean, Matt Daly's going to take advantage of another lap. I mean, he's probably going to get out here in front of Jackson. No, I don't think so. And it's another set of softs. He's going to serve his 5-second too.
So he will fall behind to Jackson Tate. And should be the final lap under safety car, of course, given the circumstances. Plenty of space to catch the back of the grid for the both of them, Jackson Tate and Matty Daly. Jackson just getting there now. Matty Daly with only a few corners to make up.
Yeah, we'll surely be going green flag racing here. There it is. Matt Daly catches the tail end of the field. Should be getting the indication any moment now that the safety car will be in. There it is.
And right as we cross the timing line for Sector 3, we will be green this lap. So Liam slowing down a bit, stacking up the grid. It'll be on his go, of course.
Travis trying to remain vigilant.
So, when will he go? And will Al-Hazmi have enough to catch?
Oh, just caught the whole field completely side by side.
It looks like
it was his choice.
Matt
He could
Daly.
do that.
Matt Daly, however, getting a decent restart right up to the back of Abdul Al-Hazmi. Into turn 1 we go. Al-Hazmi electing to take the inside, Matt Daly tucking in right behind him. Not too much movement off the start. However, Tyler Crabtree losing out on a position to Fidel, and another to Zane Bradley. Coming up the outside, they are too wide. Side by side, and it is Tyler Crabtree losing out to Zane Bradley as well as Jamie Knock on that one. Some more movement down the grid as we see Jackson Tate getting the best of Matty Daly as well as Andrew Davis taking
And
Luke
here
Allen
comes
for
AJ
P14.
Knickel around the outside. Not going to work. Here we go to a chicane, though. He's going to have to give a little bit here. Gabe gets a time penalty. Ooh.
Ooh, big twitch from AJ there.
But at the front, still remains the same.
Some movement as
Ooh.
Clay Smith takes Jake Scarborough, and Zay Bradley gets the best of Fidel Fabian
Oh,
as well.
ooh.
Jake Scarborough
Fidel
coming
giving a
right
no
back.
quarter.
Ooh, and another big twitch from AJ on those cold, soft tires.
And look at that. Jamie Knock took advantage of that. Got past Tyler Crouch. Fabian as well. Here comes Borioshi.
Making the move on Jonathan Juergensmeyer. Up the inside he goes into turn 1.
And there it is, Alex. Spits of rain coming down already.
And we have weather, folks. Things may change here rather quickly. We have to wait to see how heavy the rain will start to fall.
Oh, and who's that off? That's Clay Smith.
It looks like Clay Smith. Down the grid, he falls to the final racing position after that incident. And Liam and Abdullah Hazmi, currently P1 and P2, have built out already a second gap to P3 Matthew Stotts, who himself is over a second ahead of Borioshi in P4. But he's got Zay Bradley for close company, it seems.
Yeah, Zane up now. 11 positions. Who's that? We have a yellow flag. I'm not sure what that's for.
Seemed to be a quick one, maybe for just an off. Oh, as Jamie Knock goes around the outside of Jonathan Juergensmeyer, if only for a second, into the pits he ducks. And he may be the guinea pig here. He may be the first one onto some inters or maybe even wet compound tires, but wouldn't imagine that would be the case.
Oh,
a few drivers.
Yeah, DRS was just disabled. Or enabled, rather. I don't know.
So yes, it is the intermediate tires for Jamie Knock.
AJ gets into the side of Jackson Tate, and he's been spun around. AJ, knowing he messed up and properly didn't. It's gonna start getting tricky for those guys at the front on the hards for grip.
AJ himself struggling, having major twitches, like one after the other there, through the first sector. On those soft compound tires, of course, and the slicks do not seem to be holding up already.
Through goes Zane! Zane is eating it up right now.
On those medium compound tires, of course.
This is where the incidents will happen. People are on. The track is just, we've lost the track in almost a lap, Alex. All of these drivers, you've got to think, will be pitting. And Jamie Knock, Fidel Fabian, and Jake Scarborough might be the geniuses that got it, as we see everybody entering the pit. Not a lot of teammates in the top there, except for Matt Daly, and Gabe moved up from having to double stack at the beginning of this race, so that's quite amazing.
Jamie Knock, of course, the first driver into the pits for the intermediates, and therefore the first driver out of the pits for them as well. And we're seeing everybody come in. Every driver that is not already on wet weather tires is now coming in for them. And the field
Look at Jamie Knock
just
shoot up the order.
Look at that, yes. As if it were all according to plan, Jamie Knock finds himself in the final podium position at the moment, racing Zane for it.
Wow! What a call!
And that has to be the undercut of the season, if any. Wow. From P15 up to P3 in the course of about a lap's time.
Oh, and for his troubles, he will get it.
It's almost too poetic, isn't it?
It is, really, Alex. You almost don't want to talk to him about the drivers, but fortunately, that's just the entire point of us being here.
Jamie Knock coming out after that run into the pits for inters and gets Abdullah Hazmi by about 3 seconds already.
Yeah, Abdullah Hazmi should be pretty confident if he can just keep it clean here for a P2, which is admirable. But again, Matthew Stotts just was there at the beginning, and just as races go on, he seems to just drop. But it looks like Zane's struggling a bit for grip there on the inters, which is keeping him and Jamie Knock close. Jamie Knock losing grip, fighting it out of the final corner. But so far, everybody's... Oh, I say that, and that's Luke Allen who collects AJ Knickel. Oh, that's massive damage.
5-second penalty assessed for the severe collision, and it's AJ to the back of the grid. He falls instantly into the pits.
Safety car deployed. There is a lot of damage.
I'm sure there's plenty of debris on the track to be cleared
And
after that.
AJ's received a penalty for that as well, which, through no fault of his own, there was a Red Bull sideways in the track, and he's got to have massive damage. Lucky to be escaped that without floor damage. And look, they're going to have to serve it. I mean, to be fair, all he would have lost a position to is Luke Allen. And they're still holding him there as the Red Bull.
But of course, AJ making to look up as many positions as he can every time he ducks into the pits, and I think this is the third time by now, maybe the fourth. He is, of course, losing laps to that opportunity to make it back up.
AJ's actually made 5 stops thus far. So
5 pits. Let's take a look. And it is Jackson Tate who has gone in 4 times himself. 3 stops for Andrew Davis, Luke Allen, and Matthew Daly, it looks like. Jamie Knock and Zane Bradley, though, on the 2 stops, with the rest of the top 8 only running 1 stop. Those 2 are currently P3 and P4. Great strategy call thus far. So, back behind the safety car we go.
with these variable conditions, it was bound to happen again. And cautions do breed cautions, as they say over there in NASCAR.
So, a moment here to catch our breaths. The entire grid, of course, given the conditions, out on the intermediate tires. Nobody electing to go to the wets. And only 1 retirement thus far. Of course, it was a serious incident that crashed Julian out, but none...
And in comes Luke Allen again.
That will be another pit for Luke Allen. Let's see what he elects to do here. It'll be a fresh set of inters, it looks like.
It'll be a fresh wing. He must have had contact with AJ there.
And a wing as well, yes.
Unfortunately, a lot of this race has been run behind a VSC safety car duo.
It looks like we will be going around behind the safety car once more as we wait for the final 2 to catch the back of the pack. And already nearly halfway through this race, and 3 incidents that have brought out either a safety car or VSC. 1 VSC and 2 full safeties.
Yep. Luckily, only the 1 retirement. AJ receives a time penalty for track limits under safety car. That's a bit of a mental error.
Have to imagine that he's pushing by some margin to catch the back of the grid. Any lap lost behind the safety car is a lap lost to his chances.
Well, you gotta
to make some
imagine he's
passes.
driving around like there's a bee in his bonnet at this point.
He knows that the laps are running out already, almost halfway through this race, and nearly half of that portion behind the safety car. And the question at this point is, will Luke Allen catch the grid soon enough for the safety car to be able to come in this lap. I'm not sure that he will. On the other side of the track, coming around the start-finish straight now as they go down the back through Sector 2.
That could be his race pretty much ruined at that point.
Jamie Knock mentioning in chat that he should be the Ferrari strategist while he's currently racing in P3. Rather savage.
I mean, Jamie, that was an excellent call. You got in just as it was really coming down. It's paid dividends as you made it up to P3. But you have hungry guys behind you.
I see what you did there. Here at the Hungaroring, everybody's hungry.
You know, Alex, I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't even mean to put the pun out there, but my dad would be proud of me. Oh, I had an opportunity I didn't realize I seized. Thank you for pointing that out. Oh, we're gonna have to go another lap around.
It looks like it. As predicted, Luke Allen was not able to catch the back of the pack in time, so it will be once more around the safety car, behind the safety car, I'm sorry. Burnt Mylander, of course, now in wet conditions, driving the absolute crap out of that AMG.
Oh, we've seen what Burnt Mylander can do, and listen, I mean, as much as I love him in charge of the safety car, you gotta think, that driver of his caliber, put him in the medical car, because if you need somebody on the scene quick, I mean, who's getting you there?
He really
Burnt
is the man.
Mylander.
Yeah. He's the one you want.
He's a former racer himself, so he knows how to get on it. And he's probably got the coolest, aside from 2019, 2018, 2017, Lewis Hamilton's just saying he not as quick as he should be. He's held his own.
Certainly has. Semi-successful GT career himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like
Luke Allen has spun out and has been disqualified.
For parking. For parking in a dangerous location. However, he is not grayed out on the timing board.
I think he's had an incident.
Now grayed out.
Yeah, he's had an incident maybe there with Tyler Crabtree. Tyler Crabtree's now missing end plates as we're... Oh. Yeah, that is... Crabtree's got to be fuming. Let's go to the Discord.
The safety car will be in regardless. It seems Tyler Crabtree not able to catch the back of the pack, and he may have to duck in for damage anyway. Wow, what a terrible turn of events for him in the McLaren. Liam Carrig once again stacking up the pack as the safety car makes its way in.
This could cause a lot of problems with the spray and people checking up here, so...
This, of course, is the wettest the track has been thus far in the race, and he's off.
Oh,
getting
and
a great jump.
Jamie Knock lost the rear tires coming out of the corner, and he's going to have that position given back to him by Zane. Oh, and then he just moves up in front of Zane. Oh, starts into the back of him. Ever so slightly. But that's going to send... Oh, no, Boryoshi's off.
Big twitch there from Matt Stotts. Boryoshi is off. Fidel
Fabian
that's
Clay
managing
Smith
to make
in
it
the
up.
wall. And another VSC, Alex. We cannot get going today.
Is there damage on that Mercedes? However, it does look like he's missing an end plate, so he may also be ducking in.
Oh, good Lord.
VSC this time. This is, of course, the fourth occurrence of such a thing. Two of them now being full safety cars, two being VSCs.
A short blast to the past.
Gentlemen.
I mean, we all saw the incident from, what was it, 2021, Alex? Where Valtteri Bottas went bowling at a T1?
Yes, that was 2021.
Intermittent conditions. We also saw Max Verstappen, being such a bad driver he is, crashing on his way to the grid.
So, green is go, and Jamie Knock is off. with Abdullah Hazmi in close company, but Jamie Knock dropping back already. Down about a second and a half. He was about 1.1, 1.2 behind off the restart.
AJ looking very eager to make up these positions here.
Oh, and Matt Stotts into the pits off the restart. What could this be for? Let's see.
You see a front wing.
A few drivers into the pits now.
Oh, he's on full wets. As Andrew Davis is out of the race, he retires in the pits, which means his car, silly enough, is going to be pushed back onto the track through no fault of his own. 16 left.
Matthew Stott's electing for the wet compound tires. He will be the first, of course, onto them, and he will be the guinea pig by all means. Gap growing immensely between P1 and P2 and P3 at the moment. Those top two, Liam and Abdullah Hazmi.
Oh! Jamie Knock got sideways. Oh, and he gets sideways again and then slams into the side of Zane.
Big twitch, and it's Boryoshi making his way right through that incident, taking off
Jamie
now.
Knock, it's a bit of an unsafe rejoin. I'm sorry to say this, and he just squeezes the Ferrari there. Matt Daly. Matt Daly's going to be super pissed underneath the helmet. Ooh, that was close.
Keeping him company. Very close, those two at the moment.
Jake Scarborough trying to make something happen around the outside of Fidel Fabian. Nothing doing there.
Gabe Cazzola currently racing P11, hoping to snatch some points out of this, is also keeping them very close company. No DRS, of course, given the position, so this pass here will have to be on merit alone. He takes the inside on Jake Scarborough, forces him a little wide, it looks like.
Matt Daly, too. Proving position.
Up into a point-scoring position goes Gabe Cazzola on an interesting move.
Here comes AJ Knickel around the outside. This is going to be
He'll
tough.
have the
2
inside
into 1.
here. They may have touched wheels there. Jake Scarborough electing for the outside, does manage to make it stick. AJ will have to tuck in and try his luck on another chance.
Oh, and who's that off into the wall? Oh, that's
It looks like
Jamie
Knock.
Knock. Comes right back on the track again. That's his second. Oh, he's cutting the corner. Please don't get in anybody's way.
It looks like he may have some significant damage.
He's
it's unclear.
got to. He is
all
cutting
over
corners.
the place. Wow, across the
like
grass.
a bad contractor. Oh yeah.
He is missing an end plate, it looks like. Wow. Unfortunate. Super wide, super big twitch. And I'm sure he'll have to take it into the pits for a new wing.
This might be one of those drivers you see ducking in the pit and retires. We see Gabe trying to make a move on the outside here. Fidel Fabian, it's not going to work. There's no grip out there. Jamie Knock will try and make his way into the pit. He's going to hit the wall. He's in the wall.
No.
That surely might see the end of this race. There's a safety car. Full safety cars come out. Alex, a total of 5 stoppages here.
5th safety car
and
total.
There it is. I mean,
Yes.
at this point, why retire? You got the safety car. You caught up. I mean,
he's a driver normally fighting for podiums, so to find himself in that kind of predicament, I'm sure he feels his race was just sort of thrown away at that point.
I mean, but look at a guy like AJ Knickel who's had this crap rolling downhill over and over again, and he's found himself up. He's one position off the points. I mean, granted, he's got a penalty. See what that's for and how much it is. 3 seconds, so it's not from that contact earlier with Luke Allen. Luke Allen was disqualified, barring a weird circumstance there. Oh, we have it. Let's take a look. Luke Allen said he was disqualified for reversing out of the wall.
The official penalty assessed to him for his incident was parking in an unsafe location. I'm not quite sure that he intentionally parked, but...
No, he was, he had stuffed himself, he bended into the wall. He was just trying to get out of the Armco barrier, and this game is a well-known issue where if you put reverse, in a direction towards the track. Again, there's not a lot of runoff here, much like Monaco. And look at this, Zane's up 12 positions, but he's unfortunately in the pit. He definitely had sustained damage there throughout that run. Let's see if Mercedes comes out with a front wing.
Well, under the 5th safety car now.
Oh,
Two
and
of
they're
them
going full
virtual,
wets.
3 of them full. And yes, it looks like the experiment by Matt Stotts has kind of paid off. Other teams are paying attention, and there are full wets being put onto more cars now.
We say that as Matthew Stotts brings his car into the pits. This is going to be a switch back to the Inter.
Watching along with Matt Stotts, and it looks like it will be intermediate tires going on for him. Back out, he will join in the final racing position, P15. Hopefully with enough time to catch the back of the pack.
One can hope here. All these drivers trying to push. The AJ's also stopped in and put on the full wet tires. So obviously teammates not communicating with each other. Only 2 people on track on full wets are Zane and AJ Knickel. Maybe they know something we don't know, but at the moment it looks like AJ is absolutely struggling on those. Let's take a look at Zane's on board, see how he's faring. Very tentative here, even though he's got no one in front of him.
On those cold tires, maybe looking to avoid an incident as we've seen already in this race with drivers crashing fully out under safety car. Luke Allen, one of them. To the back of the pack he goes now. Zane Bradley, he will catch up. We will be around once more, of course, under safety car, though, as we wait for Matthew Stotts to catch the pack. And already lap 23 out of 35. I would assume that we're already about 12 to 14 laps total under safety car or just reduced pace conditions of some sort. So half the race. Can only imagine that this will not be the final incident that we see here.
I think Matthew Stotts pit again. To the full wets.
He did. He changed his mind to go on to the Inters from full wets originally, and then had a second guess off of that, and went back out onto the full wets. So now 3 drivers, Zay Bradley, AJ Knickel, and Matthew Stotts, all running the wet compound tires, the rest of the grid, of course, on those intermediates.
Better hope he catches up, or a safety.
It does not look like he will, yes. We will be behind the safety car for one more lap at this rate.
Oh my lord. I mean, he could have. It's his fault for pitting, Alex. He should.
I totally agree. Whether it was intentional or not, I can't imagine it was. Matthew Stotts is not a selfish racer by any means. There's no way he would intentionally hold up the pack for an extra lap behind the safety car just for his own benefit. May have just been a bit of an accident, a misjudgment, of course.
Oh,
with
and
those
then we have
intermediate
more
tires.
people pitting.
Yes, a few more into the pits. It's Jake Scarborough, Tyler Crabtree, Clay Smith, all ducking in, as well as Matthew Daly.
And here come the full wets. We're going to see everybody from Zane and P10, P9. Look, AJ and Matthew Stott somehow manages with that extra pit stop to pull himself from last of the running cars up to right behind his teammate just outside the points here. And they're the first cars there on fresh wets where everybody else is on 11 lap old Inters. So Hey, this could be a major strategy call here.
With 11 racing laps to go in these wet conditions, it will be a real shootout. Safety car should be in this lap as Tyler Crabtree and Clay Smith are catching the back of the pack right about now, it looks like.
Clay Smith's struggling to find temperature into those tires. We get exactly one half of the grid on a completely different strategy.
Yes, it's an interesting call, of course, but there must be something in the weather data that certain teams saw that maybe others did not quite pick up on. However, this race has been all Liam Carrick and Abdul Al-Hazmi keeping each other company, but Liam getting the better of him for most of it thus far. Stacking
Fidel
up the grid
Fabian and
once
Gabe.
more.
This is where it gets interesting, Alex. Late in the race, people are going to be a bit desperate than they normally would be.
And he's off. Abdullah Hazmi not quite catching on Liam's getaway. About half a second back now, and Boriyoshi inching up to the back of Abdullah Hazmi. Ooh, goes for the inside on him. A bit wide there for Abdullah Hazmi. Not quite enough, though, for Boriyoshi. And it's Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in P4. As well as Gabe Cazzola moving his way up into P6. But he's got Fidel Fabian for company. They make slight contact with the tires.
Fidel kind of chucked it in there on Gabe. And that's going to open the door. Here comes Zane. He thought better of it. Not turn 4 is not a good spot to try and go around someone.
Still keeping it tight on Gabe Cazzola, who himself is not too far behind Fidel Fabian for the moment. Oh, and it's AJ making up positions as it looks like Jackson Tate has had an off. Big incident there for him. Dropping down the order, he finds himself in P13 for the moment.
Zane, AJ, and Matthew Stotts leading the way on those wet tires. Oh, Boriyoshi goes very wide. Through goes Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Very respectful from the two drivers.
And already nearly half the grid, 40% with penalties to be assessed come race end, barring a stop to serve the penalty if another incident is to happen.
Oh, we got a car around. It's Clay. Oh, and he slams the inside wall. He's heading into the pit. And he's reset before he crushes the wall one more time. And that's another retirement in the pit. Just couldn't handle it.
It's the weather. We saw only one retirement through the first 3 safety cars, but in the 2 or 3 since then, we've seen just plenty more start trickling in. The changing conditions seeming to get the better of some of the drivers here tonight.
Hungary is a track where you can lose a bit of rear grip in an instant. Ooh, as AJ goes super wide, he's into the wall there. He's coming back on the track. Oh, that is not okay. Oh, he's come up in front of... He's compromising the race of all these individuals.
Like he has caused an accordion effect from P10 all the way down to about P13.
Yeah, and it looked like Tyler Crouch was meant to give the spot back through no fault of his own. Not going to make him very happy. AJ with a very, very unsafe rejoin.
Jonathan Jurgensmeyer there with a big twitch. Boriyoshi keeping him company very close to his backside. Through the final corner they go. Of course, no DRS given the conditions.
Oh, look, now Hazmi is really putting the pressure on Liam Carrick here. Maybe these conditions favoring the Williams.
Boriyoshi looking up the inside here through turn 1. Does he have enough?
Outside,
he
though.
will have enough. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer will tuck in behind him for P4.
Still a good result here for Jurgensmeyer. Still waiting to see if Zane's switch to the wets really helps him out here. He's slowly gaining on the back of Fidel Fabian and the likes of Gabe.
Our two front runners at the moment keeping themselves in close company of each other. Pulling up the tire data now. Per request of Joseph Allison, we see that the wet compound runners, of course, ducked in on the previous safety car, so most of them running on a lower lap count than the intermediate tire runners who elected to stay out under the previous safety car. So everybody from P1 to P7 on those older inters, while P8 to P11 is running the wets, and then Jackson Tate, the sole intermediate tire in the final racing positions, that is. And I agree, Joseph. I don't think, personally, that full wets are the call here, but, I mean, I guess we've got to wait and see if any incidents are to come and positions are to
Zane's
be
making
made.
it work thus far. He's caught up to Fidel and Gabe here. It's just, in these conditions, it's a matter of catching and passing, but he is right there on the rear diffuser of the AlphaTauri.
Oh, yes, he is.
Not much you can do in this section of the track, though.
He was peeking around the outside for the moment, but he tucks right back in behind Fidel. Right up to his rear. Wow. Oh, and it's so close to contact. Looks up the inside now, coming down through Sector 2.
Yeah, if you want to make a pass here. Oh, and it's forced him to make a mistake, and that's going to open the door here for Zane. Zane's got to stick it down on the inside. It'll turn to the outside here. You got to be unconventional to make a pass.
Oh, and there's contact
between them.
Tire to the side pod there.
He's going to stick with it, go through the corner.
A rather narrow part of the track they find themselves on, but he does manage to make it work. Up into P7 he goes.
Moderate respect. That's going to open the door here for Matt Daly, also on the wet tires. Got to be okay. Oh, there's contact. Clearly there with Fidel. He's going to pull Matt Stotts. Matt Stotts was running up in a podium position. Now he's down in P10, and the leaders, who's this in the pit? Boryoshi's in the pits.
As well as Abdullah Hazmi ducking into the pits. Maybe electing for those intermediate tires? No.
Full wets.
Full wets it is for the both of them.
And
these
Zane's
puddles,
gonna look like he pulled a master stroke at this point. Oh, there's a huge shunt. What happened to Ayrton Frederick? Oh, massive wing damage.
Timing board showed him all the way up in P4, P3.
And they're too wide going through there. Oh, they are locked together there. Zane and Matt Daly. Matt Daly not giving an inch. Oh, that was Gabe, rather. He is in a Ferrari sandwich. Joseph Cozy might want to rethink his
Matt Daly looking to make the switchback move up the inside on the both of them. There's contact between the teammates. Matt Daly off the contact may have forced Gabe Cazzola a bit wide there.
AJ's off. AJ's had a shunt into the wall.
Matt Daly picking up the final podium position out of that, though. Makes the move on both of Gabe Cazzola and, was that Fidel Fabian?
What's happened to Zane?
Zane dropping down the order, yes.
But look at the Ferraris. One of them's on the Inters, though, but Matthew Stotts, I was just saying, oh my god, he went from a podium position down to this. As the leader's into the pit now to go to the wets, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer's going to take the lead of this race.
And it is Jurg up into the lead on those older intermediate tires with only 6 racing laps to go.
And Matt Daly moves by and goes up into P2.
And as predicted, this weather has turned the race into quite a bit of a crapshoot. It could be
anybody's
race at
contact.
this point. Oh, it looks like it. Oh, no. Gabe Cazola getting the short end of that stick as Boryoshi, Tyler Crabtree, and Abdullah Hazmi make their way back up through him with Matt Stotts just the cherry on top. Gabe Cazola now down to P8.
Oh boy.
And yes, with the puddles forming on the track, it seems that the rain has picked up by some margin, so the full wets may be the right call now, as we see a big twitch there from Gabe Cazola. Opens the door for Zane Bradley to go right up the inside, cleanly and smoothly. Gabe Cazola right into the back of him, almost turns him around.
Yep. Liam moves his way up into P2, and you can see the time. I think Jonathan Jurgensmeyer might have stayed out a lap too late, because look at the time just come down and down and down and down. We are talking tenths of a second.
And I'm sure he knows it at this point. We'll have to see if he elects to duck in on this lap. No, it looks like he will be staying out.
I don't know about that, Mr. Jurgensmeyer.
He will be staying out
in just one sector. We've reduced the gap by 2 seconds to Liam.
Yep, Liam making up from about 4.5 to 2.5 now, down to 2 seconds.
And here goes Al Hazmi by Matt Daly.
Making it stick down the start-finish straight is Abdullah Hazmi for that final podium position. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, it's on his go at this point. I mean, Liam has caught right up to the back of him within the span of about 3 corners. Cut that 4-second gap down as if it were absolutely nothing. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer must be struggling on those older intermediate compound tires. Liam Carrick just breezing right past him on those full wets.
Let's take a look at the tires now.
Why don't we?
Gabe Jurgensmeyer, Fidel Fabian, and
Jackson Tate. So yes, given these conditions, especially with the puddles forming, I feel like that was the visual indicator. Once the puddles started to form, that's when we saw drivers really start ducking in for those full wets, after most of them running the intermediates for the first segment of the wet weather.
Matt Daly is losing time here to Boryoshi as he slowly makes his way up.
Jonathan Jurgensmeyer making a move back on Liam Carrick, but not quite enough. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Jonathan Jurgensmeyer trying to make the move on Abdullah Hazmi, that is. Abdullah Hazmi, of course, on those full wets, just pulling away from him at this point.
Here comes Boryoshi on the inside.
And it is enough. Into turn 1 he goes with that P4 position over Matty Daly. And not much movement. Jake Scarborough currently fighting for the final point scoring position with Fidel Fabian. And yeah, you kind of gotta question the strategy call there for the Haas of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. He was in a great position to at least be fighting for the podium from the lead position if he had pit soon enough, but time just being lost at this point.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta gamble here, you know, Alex, and I mean, he hasn't lost out too much. He's really just got to stick this out for 3 laps, and the gaps are forming. He could stick with a top 5 here if he just holds off.
Already
Coming
about
up now on 3 to go.
A 5-second gap from P1 to P2 and another 5-second gap down from P2 to P3. So those final podium position, or the final podium position, is the only one that seems left to be fought for here, with only 4 laps currently about to cross the line. For 3 is Liam Carrick.
There goes Matthew Daly by Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. The next to come and attack will be Tyler Crabtree.
And this is just
Matthew Stott's right behind him.
Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is riding front and center on the struggle bus right now.
Yeah, it's a 20-lap-old Inters there. Gabe's got to be struggling as well.
At this point, though, I mean, on lap 33 or 35, it is too late for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer to duck into pits for any meaningful reason, so he'll really just have to ride it out.
He would be out of the points if he were to do that.
His chance came and it went, and I'm sure he did not know. He probably just didn't know he would be hung out this bad, but here he is. Rain's still falling heavily, so I'm sure those Inters are struggling by all means. Of course, as we saw, the lead just get taken away from him so easily by Liam Carrig as he approached. The gap between them was about 5 seconds through Sector 3, but by the end of Sector 1, Liam was already ahead.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's position. Oh, who do we get? A spinner? No. Just a false alarm.
And unfortunately, it looks like the closest two cars to each other on track at the moment are Tyler Crabtree in P6, fighting for P5 of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. And he'll look up the inside here, and he will
And here
make it
comes
work.
Matthew Stotts into the back of both of them.
Matthew Stotts looking to pick up the scraps, knowing that Jonathan Jurgensmeyer was forced a little bit wide to leave space for Tyler
And
Crabtree
Gabe's
there.
tires finally gave out on him, and he's around.
He is. Oh, and he's still struggling. Oh, big struggle. Twitching left and right now without a front wing as well, and his race is done and dusted, it seems.
Matthew Stotts taking a peek down the inside. He's not going to be able to make the move down, but it's going to force Jurgensmeyer to go deep. It's going to open up the inside. Matthew Stotts, does he get enough grip off the corner? Oh, he's trying.
Some light twitches there from him. Bit of a
He's going to
step.
have to make it hard around the outside, though, and hope that Haas
and it's
doesn't
tire
get...
to the side pod. Twitch there from Jonathan Jurgensmeyer as well, but he's fighting hard, and it is Matt Stotts, up the inside of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer for P6. And wow,
Just don't know if Zane's going to have enough time to catch up to Jurgensmeyer, but you got to feel for Jonathan here.
Just heartbreak for him. I mean, the strategy call did not pay off, and it's Matthew Stotts with a big twitch. He's off and through the meter board there. Does manage to rejoin the track and not lose out too much, it looks like. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, of course, having his own struggles. The pace just not there on those tires at this point.
Jurgensmeyer could be sitting on... There's penalties. Oh, and that's AJ again who's into the wall. It's just a weekend to forget. Not able to get the car started. I believe he's waiting... He's not able to get the car going. The car is beached on a curb. Oh, no! AJ Konechny could be out of this race. Beaching. Oh,
yep.
no!
It looks like he was stopped for just a moment too long. And it's so strange how...
The floor was actually had him suspended in the air. None of the rear tires could touch the ground. He was stuck, beached on a curb.
And at this point, of course, on the final racing lap, this is Liam Carrig's race to lose. A 6-second gap to P2 Abdullah Hazmi, who himself is holding about a 9-second gap to P3 Boryoshi. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer losing out to Zane Bradley on the final lap. Oh, unfortunate. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, the fall from grace from leading this race and being able to pit and probably fight for the final podium position. He now finds himself hung out on P8. And he will be racing by himself, fortunately. Teammate Jake Scarborough, too far behind to make any noise in that scenario. But Liam Carrig, wow, really running away with this one.
He just laps Gabe here in the last lap. Gabe won't have to finish the last lap here.
Bit of a twitch there for Liam, of course, getting rather wet. Through the final corner he goes now, and it will be Liam Carrig with the win here in Hungary for the ARC 2023 Formula 1 Hungarian Grand Prix. Abdullah Hazmi taking up second place, and 10 seconds behind him will be Boryoshi of the Red Bull taking the final podium position. An interesting race here all around. We saw major shakeups, but the finish looking a lot like...
Here. Matthew Daly switching teams, getting
the finish looking
result.
A lot like the start did, at least. I mean, given that we had so many safety cars, this was the order that we saw starting to shake out. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer making up a spot as well, given the penalties that are being assessed as drivers cross the line. So he will move up from P8 to P7 off of that.
And
A
here
few
comes
drivers
Ayrton
yet to
Frederick and Fabian
cross.
to the line. There's going to be a huge shunt. Who's going to get to the line first? It's going to
Oh!
be Fidel.
Shades of John Hunter Nemechek. It is Fidel holding him out, boxing him out for that P9. Double the points, of course, of P10, given that it's only 1 point versus 2 points, but still. All matters here. And there you have it, folks. It will be Liam Carrig getting the win here in Hungary. Abdullah Hazmi of the Williams in that second podium position, and I believe Boryoshi taking the final one. An interesting race all around. I believe after all said and done, we had 6 safety car incidents, 3 virtual, 3 full safety car. Could be 5.
It's a lot.
It was too many to count after a certain point, I must say. Was not expected. Was not expected by any means here being Hungary. Of course, it's a bit of a slower race-paced track than others that we race, but being Monaco with no walls, I mean, you would think that there's really enough room for error that accidents of that sort wouldn't really happen, but plenty of incidents all throughout the race. Almost a third of the race distance raced behind the safety car, but Liam Carrig getting the win here in Hungary. Abdullah Hazmi pulling the fastest lap away from him for that extra point in P2, and Boryoshi in the final podium position P3. It is Matty Daly taking P4 for Ferrari, and Tyler Crabtree close behind him in P5. Zane Bradley with quite the redemption drive, of course, having the qualifying ban. He will finish P6. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, the fall from grace that was, down to P7, but advancing over Matthew Stotts in P8, given the penalties that Matthew Stotts had. Fidel Fabian taking P9, and Ayrton Frederick will get the final point-scoring position in P10 for Alfa Romeo. Jake Scarborough, Jackson Tate, Gabe Cazola, and Clay Smith will take P10 or P11 through 14. Missed out on points by some margin here. Just what a race. One way or the other, whether it was good or bad for any given driver, it was definitely interesting. That's clear.
Strategy, I don't know why I said strategically. Strategy-wise, from the top 3 down, it was a roller coaster ride, and if this is any indication of what we expect for tomorrow, I don't know if we have weather. It's supposed to be raining all 3 days this weekend, so look for tomorrow's race to have the same conditions. Yay! But we actually have our race winner with us, the only one who's managed to join. And Liam, you got to get used to talking to us at this point. But again, right out of the gate, this wasn't Silverstone. This was not the Red Bull Ring. You were able to get away from a DRS train and just put a stomping down on the field. Walk us through your race.
Oh, um, well, I felt like
We need you
I
to
felt
speak up.
like
We can barely hear you.
I felt like my old self again, driving. Like Prime 2021, that was possibly one of my better drives in ARC in my 2 years of ARC, 3 years. I can't remember now. I'm getting that old, but yeah, I'm really, really happy with that drive. Yeah, there's not much more I can say.
Well, you know as well as I do, Hungary's a place where it's Monaco, and especially with the variable conditions, one mistake can cost you, and you're able to keep it clean. There's a few twitches, but I mean, who doesn't have a twitch here and there, especially in these variable conditions, man? But solid drive, solid weekend, really puts a stamp. Your closest rival on track was not here this week, 2 of them, so lucked out there. Al Hasmi kept it with you for the first stint, you know, but once the weather got here, it's kind of, once the pit stop cycle kind of really happened, you're able to just extend that gap.
Yeah, no, Osme, he kept me on my toes actually, and actually made me nervous during the wet stint, but I was able to find my mojo and really put away. I know a bit of luck played into it. I think there was a lot of fighting between position 3 to 8, so I really got lucky there. But again, what's a win without any luck? There's no win without any luck.
Well, maybe. I didn't see any luck there. I just saw a really good drive from you, man.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. So thank you. I mean, I no dumb circumstances making me go crazy. Just pure driving.
Well, again, congrats on another top step, man. Closing the points gap little by little. So congrats, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Turn
Another
our
solid
attention to
drive.
second place. Yeah, Alex, you got more stats like you did last week, or
Not at
he's
the
pretty much
moment.
just
Let me pull
yeah,
some
he's
up while
just
you get
checking
to
a
Abdullah
podium.
Hazmi.
Yeah, speaking of P2, Abdullah, your teammate wasn't here this week, so you were the top guy at the team to try and get the result. And I mean, it's not a win, but it is a solid result. No mistakes all race, kept it clean. P2, made the right strategy calls. Walk us through your race.
Well, there was some mistakes, especially during my wet stint. But like Liam said, on my dry stint, was kind of catching up at some moments and mostly just keeping up with them. But once we hit the wet tires and the inters, I don't know why, but my tires started overheating. I was perfectly fine on the dries. But my mistake came in after I pitted for the wets. When I was trying to make up positions, going through the midfield, I managed to damage my wing, and there was no chance I could catch up with Liam at that point.
Oh, is that why the drop off at the end of there was wind damage?
Yeah, front right.
What happened?
I went for an overtake. It was a three wide overtake into turn one, and the guy on my right just clipped my wing.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
Poor Yoshi out of left.
If it makes you feel better, I lost half my wing doing that as well.
Yeah, I was expecting my front left wing to get damaged more since I went into. I can't remember which car it was, but it had inters on my left. Yeah, I expected
Jonathan
to get wing damage there.
Jurgensmeyer.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, apologies for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no worries.
Well, with your teammate absence, you made sure you brought as much points home as you could, so that's really going to extend your lead in the constructors. It's going to help you out there too in the drivers championship, as you're very close to maintaining a top three. I'm going to pull those up right now. What am I looking at? I am looking at the Euro F1. So, uh, which
Well,
which has you in the lead. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, you are P2. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, I mean, you finishing ahead, it's going to push you further away, but don't look now. Boryoshi finished P3. He's closing in. But again, man, congrats to Williams, man. You guys have been absolutely lights out this season, and keep up the good work, man. Congrats on P2.
No, thank you.
And Mr. Boryoshi had a little trouble there. You dropped back, came back up, dropped back, came back up, but ultimately took her home P3 with another solid result for the team. Uh, Anything spectacular with that race? I mean, you just had that conversation with Al Hazmi about the contact, but walk us through your race and how it turned out.
Start was really bad, so I dropped down a spot. But given that we knew it was going to rain, it was all about just trying to stay in the game and not like lose any body work too early on, which I managed to do. And then, yeah, I felt like my pace on the inters was good. It was a shame about losing my front wing towards the end because, yeah, just dropped back quite a lot. But after we put onto the wets, coming through the inter runners was chaos. I hope you guys had fun watching it. It was actually
Oh
quite
yeah.
fun to drive on. But yeah, there was a small opportunity where Bomber was overtaking into turn one, so I stuck a nose up the inside, but didn't work out. But anyway, we'll take P3. The guys out front were gone, so it would have been very much a steal had I managed to get any higher.
Yeah, well, like I said, you're doing great in the championship. Slowly but surely, you're just chipping away here. Closest competition was Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who was that guy who stayed out at Inters. So you've been chipping and chipping and chipping. I mean, carrying the momentum from last week's win at Silverstone, moving forward. Uh, look forward to more good results. No bias here. Um, Again,
Appreciate
though,
it.
but congrats on another podium, man. Slowly but surely, you just keep clipping away and grabbing these up, and it shows on the scoreboard, man. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Alex, if you have nothing for the drivers, then that would be it.
I think it's all covered. We want to thank you if you tuned in for this race, of course, and we want to mention that there's plenty of other ARC events on the schedule for the week coming and the weeks following, of course. As mentioned, no NASCAR this week as we take a break to prepare for the playoffs, but we still have the IndyCar Series, Super GT, and plenty others that you can tune in for if you wish. All right, we may see you for those, and if not, we'll catch you next week. Signing
You
off.
can catch Alex's beautiful voice tomorrow.
This is very true, and you can catch Billy's beautiful car on the grid for the Euro F1 series. Make sure you tune in at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you then.
We will be there.
Thanks, chaps. Thanks for streaming and commentating.
Hey, it's what we do.